You know, most car commercials, they will put the boss behind, you know, reading a paper or something. Yeah, I mean, if it's the really big limos sitting behind might make sense, but actually in most sedans, we all know that, right? This is the daddy seat, right? This is the one that in a long distance journey or a drive to Penang, you can actually adjust all the way to the back, max it out, and you can even lie down, right? And then you get business class seating. That's always what the front passenger has. And I just noticed something. I have my own extra aircon vent. Lovely. Soothing. Let's talk a little bit about the landscape of this segment first, okay? The A6 is nowhere to be seen, and then we see the E-Class and the 5 Series selling everywhere. They are running all over the town, right? Now, Mercedes has the biggest lineup. They have the E200, they have 2 specs for E250, and then they have the E300, okay? The E200 is priced at 330k thereabouts, okay? And that makes 184 horsepower. So that would put that into the same price range as this one, okay? Because this one is 338,000 and the Mercedes is 184 horsepower for E200, and then you get 211 horsepower for E250, and then it's only until E300 where you get 245 horsepower. So for E300, the prices are already approaching 380,000 ringgit, okay, for 245 horsepower, which is supposed to go against this performance output, T5, and BMW's 530i. Okay, 530i makes 252 horsepower, and this guy here, the T5, makes 254 horsepower. So in terms of the same benchmark, in terms of E300, BMW 530i, and the Volvo T5 has 2 horsepower more than BMW, and then BMW is 7 horsepower more than the Mercedes-Benz E300. Of course, we know that Mercedes recently updated the 300 moniker engine output, and that now makes 258. So I'm not sure if it will be updated anytime soon. But let's just put it this way, the 3 of them are closely matched. And let's have a look at the specifications and what do you get, alright? Now for Volvo at 330,000, you get the full spec adaptive LEDs. These are the highest spec, or what we call matrix headlamps. Of course, not a lot of car brands did not use the term matrix headlamp because Audi was the first to call it matrix headlamp, but officially, because the supplier that develops this is Hella. Hella is a brand, is the German lighting brand that developed this type of lighting system. They were the first one. They call it matrix headlamps as well. So I'll just stick to matrix headlamp. Of course, Mercedes have their own term, BMW has their own term, Volvo has their own term as well. So what they do is that these lamps dances around. You know, they can shoot one beam here. They can map out a shadow of the other car so that you don't glare it. They can do all sorts of stuff. Okay, and they're beautiful to look at. And it's good that they did not down spec the headlamps because they look glorious. And this is the signature of modern Volvos. Now, as we look further, you will notice that the T5 actually has a lot less chrome than the T8, and I prefer how this looks more than the T8, to be honest. It looks a lot more sportier with the blackout grille, the plastic inserts, and then you don't have the chrome bar that runs along the bottom. The whole car looks cleaner, it looks sportier, and partly it's also because of these rims. They look very, very sporty compared to the elegant looking T8 inscription. Alright, these are 19 inches and they're pretty good looking. Nice. They're shorted in Michelin PS4 tires, so more performance oriented tires. One design feature that looks really good in the S90 is always this, right? It gives the bonnet a little bit of height, and then this character line that runs down actually curves back up. You will see this design in the new facelifted 7 Series, where they sort of raise the bonnet by having this folding line, which is exactly the same treatment as this one, and this gives the car presence. Okay, come to the front here, you will see that there isn't a 360 camera anymore compared to the T8 Inscription or Inscription Plus. Okay, but this grille still looks good. The concave grille, look at this concave, right? Is reminiscent of the classic Volvo P1800, right? Let's come to the sides. Maybe I go the other side because the sun was shining from there. This is the largest car in its class. Okay, it has larger rear leg room, everything than be it the 5 Series or the E-Class. Okay, and one thing that makes the new S90 look so good is because of this. From the base of the A-pillar where the firewall is towards the wheelbase, the front axle, there is a very long axle to windscreen or firewall ratio. It makes the car look more premium, more sleek, and the roofline as well. And this is a part where I especially like, right? It's a nice looking design, clean but sporty. So coming to the rear, this is the part where everybody have a hard time swallowing when this car first arrived. But time has proved that this lasted, and it looks better and better the more you look at it. And this is now one of the most distinctive features of what made Volvo sedans stand out from the rest. When even from afar, you can clearly tell the unique design that they have employed, which is a far cry from a lot of cars these days that they have tail lamps that look too much like each other. You know, it's almost like everybody is using the, now everybody will call it the Korean or the Kia tail lamps, but that also came from Audi 10 years ago, and now everybody is using it, right? I like the fact that they have this character line here. Look at this line that runs like that. It's not very obvious here, but under sunlight it creates a reflection that is very beautiful, a very subtle line that just, lightly bends downwards. Very nice design. Okay, the boot is huge as well. You get power boot. Okay, of course in this segment you should get power boot. Okay, you get keyless entry, of course you get power boot, and the boot is large enough. I don't think it's as big as the E-Class boot. The E-Class has to fulfill its duty as Europe's most ride-shared car, right? Most of their sales came from the fleet companies in Europe buying them for taxis, but that's also because they are highly reliable, highly reputable, and that's why all the taxi companies are using them. Right? In fact, the E-Class has a very low load lip, lower than the others, mainly because bringing in luggage and out is always something that is within their concerns. Okay, come to the rear. Now let's come inside here. What's the difference between the T5 and the T8? You will notice the leather is the one that we're more familiar with. It's no longer the Napa leather, the super high quality, smooth Napa leather. But this is the leather that we're all very familiar with, be it by touching or looking at it. This is the leather that you find in all the BMWs or Mercedes. They call it the Dakota leather. It is also a very high quality leather as well. It's just that it doesn't give you that smooth, thin, soft, plush feel of Napa leathers. Okay, nothing too bad there. Armrest, you get a little compartment as well in the armrest. Little holder here, then your cup holders. Okay, that's what you get. And there's a pass-through, but you have to open from the back. Fix, standard, both seats, and then you get teether. One thing that is unique to Volvos is Safety, again, when you have children that are maybe below 12 or below 13, or maybe even younger than that, 7 or 8 or 9 years old, they can sit on the booster seats so that it raises their torso up, so that when they can put on the seat belts, this thing doesn't cross over their neck. Alright, it should cross over their chest. And this is a fantastic feature that I think all car makers should have. You know. And in my XC90, it's only the middle one that has the booster seats, but in the S90 you get both seats. Both sides get the booster seats, which is, I think, a feature that other car makers should consider. Another nice thing that I like is the aircon vents is mounted on the B pillar instead of in the middle here. But of course there are high specs that you have an aircon console over here, right? But yeah, aircon control, sorry, it's on the B pillar. And in terms of space, let me show you. Right, my headroom, I have about 2 fingers. I have more than a palm of knee room, and I can slot my feet underneath. And then another thing would be I can actually, sorry, it's not responding. Okay, DJI. Another thing that I always point out is that from between the rail of the seats and the base of the rear seats, there is enough room for a size 11 foot to go in between. That means if 3 person is sitting abreast, right, the middle person can sit like that instead of having to put the feet elsewhere and fighting for leg room. But that's a small thing. Okay, door panels, the quality of materials feel good in this car. Beautiful metal, brushed metal work, and they feel thick and solid. They don't feel like a thin panel. And the door handles, everything feels great. Even the door pockets, you see this part all the way from below here all the way up is one piece leather. So most car companies, they will just put leather here, right, and the armrest, and then down here is all plastics. But Volvo intentionally want to show off their workmanship. That's why they make this a pass-through, so that when you felt when your fingers run through here, you feel the behind, and you can feel that it's leather, and then you will notice that it runs all the way down into the door bins, which is a showmanship of quality, because Bentley does that as well. They wrap their entire door panels in leather. But of course, given that the leather of this car is this color, you can't really tell the difference between like this and this, you know, and or this and this. But actually this whole part is leather, and the stitchings are nice. Everything feels alright. Okay, come inside here. It's very familiar because Volvo don't really separate between, like, lower end cars you get a cheaper Speedo, or higher end cars you get a larger screen and things like that. They don't do that. This thing and this thing, even though you're buying now S90 T5, you're getting the full range of features of what these two can do. Okay, it's just that this car doesn't have 360 camera, but everything else is there. You have features that its rivals do not equip their cars with. Let's say even for something that costs up to 500,000 ringgit, right? They do not equip it with adaptive cruise control with lane keep assist, which that means semi-autopilot. Okay, so this one has semi-autopilot. In fact, it's across the board. Even in the XC40, you get semi-autopilot as well. Sensors. Now, if you're used to the German kind of infotainment screens, you're very used to big screens with individual separated icons that group functions into them. That works well in the click wheel era. Click wheel as in just like an iPod, where you have a scroll wheel to scroll up and down, and then when you click in, it slides to the next level of menu, and then you select up and down as well. So you turn, you press, you turn, you press, and then you back to go all the way out. So that has been that era. But now everybody is on the touchscreen era, and I see something that the Germans are not adapting to. In the touchscreen era, you do not need to go linear access. You don't have to press one thing to go to the next menu. You press the other thing, it goes to the next menu, and you press the other thing. You don't need a linear method of operation, where you just need to poke them like an app, like iPhones, like Androids, right? Every function is an app by itself, and then it's all out there. You can see them, you press them straight. I don't have to go through linearly to come here, right? I mean, this won't work in the click wheel era because it's annoying to imagine it's highlighted here, and then you scroll the wheel, and then the highlight runs like that, and it becomes very annoying, right? So in the touchscreen era, I think Volvo now has the best solution. Why? Let me explain. This is the home screen. Home screen has three of the things that you use most often: your navigation, your radio or media, your phone. This one is not customized, but it is your last access. Let's say driver performance. The last access is driver performance. It will be shown here, right? Sorry, we're driving very aggressively. All right, so that is your last access. Then you will have that over there. And then you have Bluetooth, let's say, right? Then Bluetooth. Oh, Bluetooth is already here because it's under media, right? And then you have messages. You see that? Then it will be messages down here. So this is your last access. Okay, that's how they do it. And you cannot customize this tree. It's fixed because that's the things that you use most often. So how do you operate in a Volvo? This one is your home screen. You can quick access to these few things that you use most often, right? And it's super easy to use. Let me see. Set a location. You can just set, let's find something. Okay, Gotong. Okay, Hotel Gotong Jaya. And then just start. Done.
The route is being calculated. Exit the roundabout.
Started already, right? It's very easy, and to cancel is also very easy. Just press cancel. Okay, done. You've cancelled it. Just press this button and then you return the home screen just like an iPhone. Okay. Now, what about the left and right side? How do you find things? Now, remember our dashboard used to be littered with a lot of little buttons that you turn on and off, on and off, on and off. All of those one-touch on and off buttons are now on the right side. Okay, right side. All these things are stuff that you turn on and off. You see? You turn on and off. Your start stop, you turn on and off. Your lane keep assist, you turn on and off. And these things, you can adjust them however you like. Right? You can set it to your liking. Which one you want to be on top or below. You can move them around just like your phone. Okay? Headrest fold, you press this and then both headrests at the back will drop down. Let me show you. I'm gonna press now. Alright, see that? But I can't lift it back up. Okay. Now on this side will be apps. You can download new apps like Google Search, Spotify, or you can go in FM radio and do your settings, your Bluetooth to do your settings. These are all apps. Okay, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all these are here. When you plug in, then you can operate from there. Now for the more detailed settings, you come inside here. You can go into your car, you can set your display, and then here is all linear because it's more complicated. These are things that you don't adjust every single day, so they put it in a linear manner so that it's easily understood. Okay, IntelliSafe, you want the car to warn you later, or you want it to warn you early or normal. Lane keep assist, you want both. You want sound warning and physical assistance, or you just want sound warning, or you want both. Do you want it to have speed limit warning, where it will read the road signs and then it will warn you on speed limit, right? It will road sign audio warning. When it reads the speed limit sign, it will tell you what's the speed, things like that. You can even do it. Driver alert control, whether you want the car to tell you that the car will feel that you have already become sleepy, the car warn you, or things like that. All right. And then you have drive preferences, start stop, engine is in standby when car is not moving, things like that. Wipers, you can adjust all these things inside here. All right. So, and then the owner's manual is here as well. It doesn't come with a printed owner's manual. That's all it comes with. All right. That's how it works. Glove box, huge, large, covered in felt, lovely. The seats are very comfortable. These are Volvos, no surprises there. I'm surprised it doesn't come with a sunglass holder. It should, by right it should, then it's nicer. Lovely to have a frameless rear view mirror. I think it is way classier than those that with a plastic rim. Okay, now here, of course this is momentum spec. Momentum spec, you do not get the inlays repeated here, so this is just a plastic cover. But then it's alright. It's a nice small spot that is just nice for you to put your phone when you run navigation or something like that. Or there is another way to operate it. See here, these are the cup holders. See that? Cup holders. Of course, sorry, we dropped our coins here. 12-volt socket over here. You can put your cups, and it's just nice for your phone as well. And then you can even hold your phone like that, and then you close this. Hold your phone there so you can see the information if you're using Waze or something like that. Now this car doesn't come with the drive select, which is a disappointment. I mean, if it comes with it, you can have sport mode and comfort and things like that. Alright, but cost optimization happened, no choice. It also doesn't come with pedal shifters. Alright, only the T6 R design comes with pedal shifters. The stocks and all that, they feel great. The lights are automatic, the wipers are automatic. Lights, you can just leave it in auto, or you can shift it upwards a little bit like that to force it to go into adaptive mode, whereby the lights will start flying around when it sense darkness. Okay, as for the wiper stock, this is the button that you activate the rain sensing wiper, this one. Okay, in terms of radar cruise control, it's so easy to operate. It is the easiest to operate. When you're driving, you want to initiate cruise control, just press this button once. You press it once, and then it's already in cruise control. And then you press right one time, it will be in semi-autopilot system. And you can activate this as long as your car is moving and there's lanes. You don't need to reach a certain speed on all that. No, just if it's moving slowly, then you just press this, then it's done. Alright. Volume control knob feels good. The quality feels really good. And yeah, so that's the cabin of the S90 T5. You get a full armrest, unlike the T8, because the T8 has the battery underneath, and it doesn't have a deep console like this one. Okay, overall, put it this way, this one doesn't have the hybrid drivetrain, so it's a lot lighter. It also doesn't have the hybrid powertrain intervention into your brakes when you are braking, so the brakes feel great. It feels great to drive. And it also doesn't have the air suspension, which means that on long distance highway drives, the air suspension will be more comfortable. However, or the air suspension can be adjusted between sport and all that, right? But this suspension is way nicer in uneven roads, on roads that are, bumpy, because air suspension, they have their good and bad. They cannot calculate fast enough for sudden judders. So this suspension, this setting, the tuning is fine. Is comfort bias, but there is a certain limit whereby you can feel the sportiness in it. It's fine. For daily driving, this car feels way easier, way effortless to drive. Of course, it doesn't have the hybrid mode. The hybrid mode, which means the engine runs on electric power, the car is quiet, very high-tech stuff. This one doesn't. This one is a standard 2-liter turbocharged powertrain, 254 horsepower, 350 Newton meters of torque, and it's fast enough, it's comfortable enough, it handles well enough. But because the T8 was so well spec'd, right, and the price differences between the T8 and the T5 in Malaysia is so minor that we can't help, because back then the T8 is under the hybrid incentives, and actually it was sort of like a greatly reduced taxation. If not, the car will be very, very expensive. So in terms of rationalization, now this car's specification is sort of there with the rest, just that on safety features it is slightly better, but it doesn't have heads-up display, it doesn't have pedal shifters, it doesn't have the Bowers and Wilkins, which is a 20,000 ringgit option, which is expensive. But other than that, you have everything you need. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, powerful enough, leather seats, the booster seats at the back there, you have the lane departure, adaptive cruise control, which are absent from other car makers. So it's still competitive, but it's just that the T8 was a real bargain. The T8 was an absolute bargain. 400 horsepower. You get every single feature you have in that car. But this one, not bad. You still get full spec headlamps, full safety features. That's the most important part, I guess. So if you want to be slightly different, I think this one is something that you can consider. But the advantage that Volvo had against 5 Series and E-Class is no longer as big as when they have the T8. And even with the T8, it doesn't sell as well as the 5 Series or the E-Class, because that segment, people's mindset for that segment has been sort of, emblazoned in their minds that it's either BMW or 5 Series. That's how it has been. But if you want something that is more subtle, safer, blah, this is the guy to go for. I would really hope it has pedal shifters, which it doesn't. Yeah, cheers.